with respect to rotation, we are going to discuss today about quaternions. Before we go with respect to quaternions, first we have to see why we are going to quaternions. And quaternions is the extension what we are going to see in three-dimensional rotations. When you are going to perform three-dimensional rotation, how effective you can do using quaternions. So basically, you know about model view as well as projection matrix, where model view matrix is used to describe the position of the camera. With that, we used to build the model of objects, model view matrix, right? So the view matrix, it will say about the position and location of the camera. How we used to perform? Either we used to use the function GLU lookup function. GLU lookup function, what it will say? It will say about the camera I. With respect to I, what you are going to look X, Y as well as Z axis. Okay, and second, the reference point of X comma Y comma Z. Third, the up vector X comma Y comma Z. Okay, then using that you are going to build model of object, right? Where projection matrix, what it will define? Projection matrix define about the view volume and to select camera lens, which means properties of the particular camera. Either you are going to view volume means either you are going to view through perspective matrix or parallel. Okay, parallel projection or perspective. So that can be done through projection matrix, right? So model view and projection matrix are manipulated by the same functions, right? But we have to be careful when you are going to do the incremental changes. Incremental changes are always made by post multiplication. For example, rotating a model view and projection matrices by the same matrix are not equivalent operations. Post multiplication of the model view matrix is equivalent to pre multiplication of the projection matrix. So here rotations are not commute. In 3D, the rotations are not commute. The rotations, why? Because the rotation changes the direction of every potential other axis except itself. Whereas in 2D, it changes nothing. Why? Because it's only one axis of rotation. Whereas here we used to see angle as well as axis of rotation. And here in practical standpoint, we often want to use the transformation to move and reorient object smoothly. Suppose the problem when you are going to find a sequence of model view matrices, if you take any object, if you rotate the particular object, for example, we have seen in spinning a color cube, right? Spinning a color cube, where we taken the color cube, we use the model view matrices and applied to move one position to the another position of smooth transition, right? Here, for orienting an object, we can use the fact that every rotation correspondence, when you are performing the rotation at a part of great circle or sphere, whatever may be. Okay, so what we are going to do here, find the axis of rotation and angle. To do the incremental rotation, right, suppose if you are going to take any object, you are going to perform the rotation. First you are going to perform the rotation with respect to xz axis or yz axis, or you are going to perform with respect to x axis, y axis, z axis. So when you are going to perform more than one incremental rotation, first if you are going to say the initial position of the object specifying x equal to 10, y equal to 20, z equal to 15, and you are going to say the transition, first rotation at theta equal to 30 degree, and next you are going to say the theta value with some 60 degree, and in that way incremental rotation may consider two approaches. For a sequence of rotation matrices, rotation 1, rotation 2, rotation up to rotation n. So find the Euler angles for each and use the incremental rotation with respect to each and every axis. It may not be very efficient. So second approach, what is second approach? Use the final position to determine the axis and angle of rotation, then increment only the angle, which means whatever rotated object you are getting, right, take the final position, then increment only by the angle. Okay, so what the quaternions compared to these two approaches is more efficient, right? And basically quaternions, how we will consider the values, extension of imaginary numbers from 2 or 3 dimensions, where we use in 2 dimensions plus 3 dimensions both complex numbers. So as you know about the complex numbers, requires only one real and 3 imaginary components of I comma j comma k, where you are going to write the value one real number plus imaginary number of I, j and k, where in a complex number, you know, I square equal to -1, j square equal to -1, k square equal to -1, where I into j is equal to minus k, where j into k is, sorry, I into j is equal to k, j into k is equal to I, k into I equal to j, where we are going to get the value like that in complex numbers, right? So quaternions can express rotation on sphere smoothly and efficiently. The process how we are going to do in quaternions: first model view matrix to quaternion, then quaternion to carry out the operation to model view matrix. Okay, so in this way you are going to perform quaternion. Take any object, perform model view matrix, then perform quaternion operations. Then after you perform the quaternion operation with respect to rotation, then you bring back to model view matrix, right? So quaternions, complex numbers can represent 2D rotations. Quaternions is generalization of complex number. It can represent 3D rotations, where in 3D rotation with 4 numbers, where into 4 into 4 matrix, it will require the less space compared to 4 into 4 matrix. Okay, and in that 4 numbers, 3 gives the rotation axis, that is the magnitude is sine alpha by 2, and 1 gives cos alpha by 2. where here the unit of magnitude, where we are considering points on 4D unit sphere. Advantage of quaternions: no trigonometry is required, where multiplying quaternions gives another rotation. Rotation matrix can be calculated from them. So direct rotation with no matrix, no favored direction or axis. Okay, so overall about the quaternion, where quaternion which will perform the extension with respective three-dimensional rotations and deal with complex numbers, and a more efficient method for generating rotation about on arbitrarily selected axis is to use a quaternion representation for the rotation transformations, right? So quaternions, which are extension of two-dimensional complex numbers, are useful number of computer graphics procedures, including the generation of fractal objects. So they require less storage space than 4x4 matrices. So it is simpler to write quaternion procedures for transformation sequences, and majorly important in animation, which often require complicated motion sequences and motion interpolations between two given position of object. So what do you know about the 3D rotations? So 3D rotations, how will you perform? Initially, you take any object, you translate the particular object so that the rotation axis passes through the coordinate origin. So which means given position of the object, you move on to the coordinate origin, then rotate the object so that axis of rotation coincides with one of the coordinate axis, which means your origin point x0, y0, z0. Then perform the specified rotation about the selected coordinate axis, either with respect to clockwise or counterclockwise, and apply inverse rotation to bring the rotation axis back to original position. So initial object, you are moving to the coordinate origin, then from the coordinate origin you are rotating the object. For example, if you are rotating counterclockwise by 30° from the coordinate region, okay, perform the rotation, then you have to bring back to the original position. For that, what you have to do, you have to apply inverse rotation as well as inverse translation to bring back to the original position. Okay, and what we discussed about arbitrary rotations: initial position of the particular object, bring back to the coordinate region, okay, where x0, y0, z0, then rotate onto the z axis, then rotate the object around z axis, then bring back to the original orientation, okay, which means inverse rotation, then inverse translation, okay, inverse rotation, then inverse translation. So here your arbitrary rotation, where given point with respect to P1 and P2, what we are going to define with points P1 and P2, the direction for the unit axis vector u, which means P1 to P2, determined by the specified rotation, either with respect to x-axis or y-axis or z-axis, okay, with by the specified rotation direction, right? So initially the particular vector when you are going to consider between two different endpoints p1 and p2. Okay, so you will take with respect to x, y and z. p2 minus p1 is going to be x2 minus x1 and comma y2 minus y1 and z2 minus z1. When you are going to write the unit axis vector u value, how we are going to determine. Okay, so v divided by modular of v, where here your angle of values of x comma y comma z is going to be a comma b comma c. So with respect to a, you are going to write x2 minus x1 divided by modular of v. Similarly for b, similarly for z. Okay, so this is when you are going to specify the axis of rotation, okay, with the defined points p1 and p2. What you are going to do, you are going to translate the rotation axis to the coordinate region. This is your initial position of the given object. Then you are going to perform the translation at coordinate region. Okay, we are going to perform the translation at coordinate region. Here what we are doing, given points p2 minus p1. Okay, so here the values is going to be 0 minus x, 0 minus y, 0 minus z, where it is going to be minus x1, minus y1 and minus z1, which means the reverse p1 p2. Okay, so considering that, so your value is going to be minus x minus y minus z, right? So you are going to bring the translation of the rotation axis to the coordinate region. So how you can write the translation with respect to your x and y and z coordinate values like this: 1 0 0 minus x1, 0 1 0 minus y1. This is what? Minus x1 minus y1 minus z1 what? This is your translated values with respect to x, y and z. Tx is going to be minus x1, ty is going to be minus y1, tz equal to minus z1, right? And rotations, we are going to see here rotations defined with respect to x-axis, y-axis and z-axis. Either it is xz plane, yz plane, then xz plane. Okay, so unit vector u is rotated about the x-axis to bring into xz plane, that is your A diagram, which means with respect to x-axis and unit vector u rotated about x-axis to bring out xz plane, right? Where here the rotation about x-axis, where initial unit vector value u, rotation performs about x-axis here. Then after it perform rotation on x-axis, then it is rotated around y-axis to align it with z-axis. So second diagram you can see here, rotation around y-axis. Okay, so you can see the initial unit vector U is rotated about the x-axis, then it rotated around y-axis. You can see the rotation with respect to this particular coordinate region. So in general, putting two steps, the rotation axis onto Z, we take x as well as y. Okay, rotate about the x-axis, rotate about the y-axis. Okay, rotation of U around x-axis into xz plane is accomplished by the rotating U dash, the new vector value, the projection of U in yz plane through angle of alpha and to z axis, which means here in your z axis rotation, your x value is going to 0, y value is going to 0. All right, see here your unit vector U is rotated about x-axis to bring into xz plane, right? So after that it rotated around y-axis. One more rotation is performed. Okay, rotate around y-axis with z-axis, which means here we are going to perform z-axis rotation, right? In z-axis rotation, where rotate about the x-axis and rotate about the y-axis. Okay, so initial position of the vector U, then after it performs the rotation, okay, with respect to xz plane, then you get the new vector value U dash through the angle of alpha and to z axis. When you are going to consider z axis rotation, vector value is going to be, x value is going to be 0, y value is going to be 0, and z value is going to be 1, because here we are going to perform z axis rotation, right? So same you put into projection of U in yz plane as the vector. So you are going to take the value 0 comma b comma c, which means your U value is equal to a comma b comma c. That's what we see in previous slides. Okay, so your translated rotated the U dash value is going to be with respect to yz plane is equal to, yz plane means x value is going to be 0. So 0 comma b comma c. Then the cosine of the cosine of rotation angle alpha can be determined from the dot product of U and the unit vector uz along with z axis, where you can write cos alpha is equal to your dot product U dash into uz divided by modular of U dash and uz. So how you arrive this c by d value, where U dash value is equal to 0 comma b comma c, where unit vector uz with respect to z axis, what is the value? 0 comma 0 comma 1. So U dash value is equal to 0 comma b comma c. Your unit vector with respect to your z axis uz value is equal to 0 comma 0 comma 1. So 0 comma b comma c, then multiply with 0 comma 0 comma 1. What you will get? 0 into 0 0, 0 into b 0, then 1 into c, so you got the value c, divided by modular of u dash and uz. So u dash is going to be 0 square plus b square plus c square. Here your root of 0 square plus 0 square plus 1 square. Okay, so multiply these two. Here you will get b square plus root of b square plus c square. Okay, once again listen, cos alpha is equal to u dash into uz divided by modular of u dash and uz, unit vector with respect to z axis. Here projection with respect to yz plane, the value is going to be, x value is going to be 0 in with respect to yz plane. So y value is equal to b, z value equal to c, right? So 0 comma b comma c multiply with unit vector with respect to z axis is equal to 0 comma 0 comma 1. Okay, so multiply these two. 0 into 0, 0. 0 into b into 0, 0. Then c into 1, c. So you will get the value c. Then divided by modular of u dash and modular of, multiply with modular of unit vector u with respect to z axis. Okay, so u dash value is going to be root of, modular of u dash value is going to be root of 0 square plus b square plus c square, multiply with root of 0 square plus 0 square plus 1 square. So you will get the value d, where d is replaced root of b square plus c square. So here you will get the value c by root of b square plus c square. So where d is the magnitude of u, d equal to root of b square plus c square. Similarly, sign of rotation angle can be determined from the cross product, where you will see u dash into cross product of uz, you will get this, right? Where cross product, how it will be, like suppose if you take a1 b1 c1 a2 b2 c2 with respect to that angle, you will write a2 b3 minus a3 b2 plus, like that you do the cross product, right? So here in the cross product, when you rewrite the Cartesian form of the cross product, gives u dash into uz is equal to a unit vector with respect to x axis into b. Okay, so how we can equating the right side of equation 1 and 2, equation 1 and 2, equating the right sides, and nothing that your modular of u equal to 1 and modular of u equal to d. Then we have d sine alpha equal to b, or you can write sine alpha equal to b by d. Okay, so now that we have determined the values for cos alpha and sine alpha in terms of components of unit vector u, and we can set up the matrix elements for rotation of this vector about the x-axis and into xz plane. We are going to write rotation with respect to x-axis, where x value is going to be 1, and where you are going to write the values with respect to y and z. Okay, where here how we can write, this is going to be cos theta equal to c by d, and minus sin theta. Minus sin theta is going to be b by d, minus b by d. Then here sin theta, sin theta b by d, then cos theta equal to c by d, which we already defined here, cos alpha and sin alpha. Okay, rotation with respect to x-axis is going to be 1 0 0 0 0 cos theta minus sin theta 0, then 0 sin theta cos theta 0 0 0 0 1, where in place of cos theta the value is going to be c by d, in place of sin theta the value is going to be b by d, in place of sin theta the value is going to be b by d, and cos theta the value is going to be c by d, right? And next, swing the unit vector in x z plane in counterclockwise around y axis onto positive z axis. So this says about rotation of unit vector u value, okay, and the rotation into x z plane about y axis. So positive rotation angle beta, which you will give the new unit vector value u dash, the first value, unit vector value u dash value you got with first rotation. In the first rotation you got the unit vector value u dash, then you are going to swing the next rotation unit vector value, where you are with respect to z axis your unit vector value is 0 0 1, then when you are going to do around y axis, your value is a b c, right? So a b c here around y axis, then further it will be rotated, positive rotation along angle of beta, which will give the new unit vector value u dash equal to a 0 d, which you can see from this, right? So here the rotations, the second rotation, how we are going to write, cos beta is equal to u double dash into u z, where u double dash value equal to a 0 d multiply with 0 0 1, okay? So and similarly here u double dash, model of u double dash, and unit vector with respect to model of z axis, which will give the value d, where unit axis unit vector with respect to z axis and model of u double dash, which is going to give 1, okay? And similarly when you do the cross product, this is dot product operation cos beta, then cross product operation with respect to sine, and rewrite with the Cartesian form, you will get sine beta is equal to minus a, cos beta equal to d. You can apply those values and you can check dot product as well as cross product. You will get the value with respect to cos beta equal to d and sin beta equal to minus a. So therefore the transformation matrix for rotation of unit vector u about the y axis, you are going to write y axis, you can once again refer back those rotation with around x axis, y axis and z axis. So with respect to y axis, we can write the transformation matrix cos theta 0, sin theta 0, 0 1 0 0, and minus sin theta 0, cos theta 0, 0, 0, 1. Okay. So this is with respect to y axis. Next, the rotation together we write. Then with respect to z axis, you will get cos theta minus sin theta, cos theta. Same way, if you write the final rotation